Hello, and welcome to the Coordinated Entry New User Training. My name is Becky Burrow. Today we'll be providing a 101 level training to introduce you to the concept of coordinated entry systems. Coordinated entry is a complicated topic with a lot of moving parts. Our goal today is to give you a basic overview of how the system is designed to work. If you watched our Introduction to Continuums of Care training, or even if you didn't, you may know that continuum of care is not just a network of providers, but a community plan to address homelessness. Well, coordinated entry is a major component of how we go about implementing that community plan. This first video is intended to answer the following questions. What is coordinated entry, and what problem is coordinated entry trying to solve? There are many definitions of coordinated entry, but the one that we'll be using today is a streamlined system that provides quick access to individuals and families seeking assistance through a coordinated referral and housing placement process. To truly understand coordinated entry, we need to start with the problem that it is attempting to solve. We're going to discuss a hypothetical client trying to navigate the housing system without coordinated entry. Imagine, if you will, a client who is newly homeless. Let's call him Jim Kirk. He does not know how to find help, where to go, or what he should do. Jim is probably in a crisis and doesn't know where to start. We know that HUD funds a wide variety of different housing and homelessness programs: emergency shelters, transitional shelters, rapid rehousing, joint component transitional and rapid rehousing, permanent supportive housing, supportive service organizations, not to mention mainstream resources like Section 8 and public housing, along with all the other programs to help him get his basic needs met: food pantries, drop-in centers, benefits like SNAP, WIC, Social Security, maybe unemployment. The list goes on and on and on. He needs help with a lot of different domains of his life: housing, healthcare, employment, but where to start picking up the pieces? To make matters worse, all of the different agencies and nonprofits have their own processes. Some may be able to help him with his health care, but not his housing. Others with his housing, but not his addiction. He notices that all of the different resources to help him are off in their own siloed agencies with their own application processes and wait lists and their own client selection criteria. Jim doesn't know what all of these acronyms are or how they work. Who should he go to first? Will they even take him? He has a lot of needs: housing, income, food. He might also have a mental illness he is struggling with, or an addiction. He sees all of these programs and just gets overwhelmed. Doesn't know where to start, doesn't know which programs will take him, doesn't know what each program will offer, or if there is even any space in them to take him at all. Perhaps he tries to take the leap. He applies to a program. They tell him they have a wait list and will add him to it. They don't know how long the wait list will be, so he adds his name and continues on his way applying to other programs. Then another, filling out piles and piles of applications and paperwork, repeating the story of his traumatic experience again and again to different service providers. It is exhausting, and he has no way to know if he's making any progress. This confusing system is not anybody's fault. It is a natural byproduct of the way our systems work by default without coordination. You see, when public funds are given to many different agencies without a central vision or process, these programs have no choice but to invent their own. Unlike large centralized government bureaus like Social Security, the Homeless Service System pays smaller agencies to run its programs. This model can be really beneficial because it provides greater community leadership, more flexibility, specialization, local expertise, and diversity of a large array of different nonprofit leaders. But a downside is that without some form of central coordination, the system can be confusing to navigate for clients. There's a lot of money going to a lot of different places, and it can be difficult to make heads or tails of, especially when the providers and funders change from year to year. For most direct service providers on the ground, you guys are busy helping clients. It's easy to just simply not be aware of what it all looks like from a bird's eye view, not just what types of resources exist, but also their eligibility criteria, application feeds, etc. You can see why this chart, with lines going in a million different directions, is an apt description of our default system. So that's the problem that coordinated entry intends to solve. There are a lot of players, a lot of different resources, and it makes a system that looks non-transparent and gatekeeping from the outside. A big part of what we do is building trust with our clients and our communities. But when it takes a master's degree to understand how to get help using the resources that we have, it is reasonable to expect that clients to get confused and frustrated with the process, like housing is being dangled over their head, but it is just out of reach. This is one of the other problems that our system creates. With so many programs and so many clients, it's easy to lose track of who is coming or going. How many clients are being served? How many clients are interacting with homeless service programs on a given day? Do they all need housing? If so, what kind? Without answers to these questions, we are forced to react to crises as they emerge, rather than proactively predicting what might go wrong next. This is the problem that Coordinated Entry was created to solve. One centralized system to manage intake, assessment, prioritization, and referrals to all of these different projects. It's a daunting task, but the goal is, even in a complex system, to do everything we can to simplify the user experience of it. All of these issues are part of the reason why HUD began suggesting that continuums of care create centralized intake systems. Finally, they made it official and required that all COCs throughout the entire country develop some form of coordinated entry process. So we're putting together a coordinated entry system for two reasons. First, because we want to. It is a best practice to help clients figure out how to navigate the system. It makes getting help less about who you know and more about what you need. Second, we are putting together a coordinated entry system because it is required by HUD. HUD ties future funding to it and monitors communities for compliance with it. By creating a system, one that shares a central vision for how we resolve homelessness, providers, advocates, clients, and government agencies alike can collaborate on ending homelessness. By centralizing our intake assessment, prioritization, and referral system, we can make it so that our clients know what to expect when they ask for help, and we can move forward confident that we are making progress towards our goals. That is all for this video. Goodbye.